Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you and His mercy. Peace, family. I'm just doing this little bill real quick. I'm just stepping outside of the gym a little while ago. It's blazing outside. I had to go get me a little workout in, start my morning off. I said, I ain't do a build in a minute. Let me go live and talk about this hip hop thing real quick. Because so many people been talking to me about it lately. And I just wanted to kind of weigh in on the situation. There we go. Yeah, I kind of wanted to weigh in on the situation, because Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe, a couple of artists, recently came out and, they were just talking about how, how black people or black Americans weren't the sole inventors of hip hop culture, that it was other people that also took part in it, in the inception, not the building of it, because we know, a lot of different ethnicities, eventually came into it, but its inception, when it was first birthed, who was there? Who were some of the pioneers? Were they black? Were they white? Were they, Latino? Latin American, Native American? Were they so-called Jewish or Jews? Who was it in the inception? And a lot of people was, jumping down KRS-One's neck for, just some of the stuff he made, remarks that he made. Lord Jamar actually did a good bill. I was watching a bill that he did, and he actually touched on something that was key that I wanted to mention when he talked about other cultures trying to be involved in hip-hop in its inception, but it was up to us as black people. We were like the gatekeepers, basically, like, nah, we not letting that go through, nah. Oh, yeah, that's fly. I like that. Yeah, I think we'll adopt that into our culture, into our, you know what I'm saying? Now, he touched a good point with that. Very, very good point with that. That's key. Because that just goes to show that other ethnicities might have been there at the birth of it or the inception, but unless we, black Americans, gave the head nod or the thumbs up or whatever, it didn't fly. And during the early stages of hip-hop, when it was first birthed, those cultures were not a part of it. I can honestly say that. Me, I'm from Flatbush, Brooklyn, originally. Moved to Coney Island later on, when I was like 14. My mom's moved to Coney Island, when she bought her first townhouse or whatever. But in Flatbush, most people know, if you know anything about Brooklyn, Flatbush and Crown Heights, for the most part, is mostly West Indian people. Either you were born in the Caribbean, the West Indies, or your parents was from the West Indies, some island, whether it be Jamaica or Grenada or Trinidad or Barbados or, you know what I'm saying? Even Guyana and Belize, even though that's more South American, it's not Caribbean, but similar, you know what I'm saying? Costa Rican people, Panamanian people, same thing. It's all, similar ties to Caribbean or Jamaican ancestral, background. So during the late 70s, I could remember in Flatbush, it was mostly white people. There wasn't a lot of black people there. My mom's and pops, my family was like one of the few black people that were there during the mid to late 70s. I want to say about like 78, 79. Yo, the whole dynamic, the whole spectrum changed. From white people started moving out. Why were they moving out? Because all of these black people, West Indian black people, you know, again, Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinis, Bajans, you know what I'm saying? You know, they start flooding the communities in Flatbush and Crown Heights during 1979, 1980, 1981, flooded the community. But guess what? By that time, hip-hop was already on its foot moving. It wasn't just in the Bronx. And that's another like kind of debate too, because for years we've been hearing that it primarily started in the Bronx, when there's documentation that cats in Queens, cats in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying, all throughout the city was really doing hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them, the West Indian people didn't really get into the hip-hop or rap music until they came over here to America. Once they came over here to America, and also Latino people too, from that's West Indian, such as Dominicans, or, you know, like, you know what I'm saying, they're you know, same thing. In New York, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans and black in New York are like this, pretty much, because we came up hand in hand together. But when hip-hop started, you know, I had a conversation one time with my daughter, and I told her, I was like, you know, there was a time when there was no rap music on the radio. I could remember that time when it was just disco. It was the disco era when I was a kid, and my older sisters and them used to, you know, be listening to the disco, and I remember that. When hip-hop came in, a lot of those break beats and stuff like that was used from those. They slowed down the disco beats a little bit. So when you're listening to like certain songs, you know, Donna Summers or Evelyn Champagne King or Shaka Khan, or, you know what I'm saying, like some of those beats, they slowed them down and dudes started rapping on them. The DJs was mostly like kind of like the rappers, because they would be spinning records, and, you know, they on the mic while they spinning the records, they on the mic, you know, trying to move the crowd. Yeah, throw your hands up. Say ho, ladies, say ow. You know, just trying to get everybody hype and into the party mode. But eventually the MCs, you know, started doing that job and assisting the DJ while he played the selections or the music. They started doing that. And kind of Jamaican culture is kind of very similar to that in the way in which it got started, because again, the DJ, or in this case, the selector, because they're called select. The DJ is the selector. He selects the music. So the selector is the one who is selecting which tunes to play. And, you know what I'm saying, he was the one on the mic at first, you know, like trying to get the crowd, you know. But eventually another individual took on the mic and he became the DJ, but he's a rapper or MC. And he was the one now with the lyrics and the, you know what I'm saying? Now you're more listening to lyrics. It's not just kick up your foot and throw up your hand and shake your bottom. And it wasn't just that. It was just more, it came with more substance. So it was with the rap too. Again, it was just DJs trying to move the crowd, but eventually the lyrics came into play with that. Now, again, what Lord Jamar said was key, because back during the late 70s, coming into the early 80s, you didn't really hear no Jamaican influence in the beats, the type of hip hop beats that were being played. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it was, you know, more Black American, James Brown or something from the disco era that was, you know, being played, or the DJs was cutting it, you know, making the instrumental keep playing so the MC could spit or, you know, rhyme or whatever. That concept was something that came about with Black Americans and through our lingo. There was no Puerto Rican or Spanish words being said when hip-hop first started. There was no Jamaican twang. There was no patois. You didn't hear that till later in the early 80s. I would say like early to mid 80s now, where you get, you know what I'm saying, brothers like KRS-One and, you know, bidi-baba, the bridge is over, the bridge is over, bidi-baba. You know, he kind of using like Super Cat style of, you know, like how some of the DJs in Jamaica, you know, Major Worries or Super Cat or Early B, you know, some of those dancehall DJs from back then, you could hear the bidi-baba, the bridge is over, the bridge is over, bidi-baba. Say me coming in the dance with the spliffer Sensi, down with the crew called BDP, you know, and he, you know, and then I think Grand Puba had a, you know, like kind of like a reggae type of joint back in the 80s with the youth Don Barron, youth named Don Barron, you know, the diddly Grand Puba, you know, like who all could go back and kind of remember that or think back to that era. That might have been like 84, 85, you know. Now you start hearing more West Indian, primarily Jamaican, because nobody was really using Bajan slang or Trini slang or Guyanese. Nobody was on there with the Yamada cunt and you know, it was blood clot and bomba clot, ras, and you know what I'm saying. You heard words like that started to eventually incorporate into the hip hop. Same thing with, you know, with the Hispanic. You started to hear Spanish words being incorporated into the, you know what I'm saying? You know, I remember like in Flatbush, like the Real Roxanne and, you know, Howie T and even some of the brothers from UTFO, they were either West Indian, you know, like, or Hispanic, you know, like the Real Roxanne or whatever, half Puerto Rican, half black, or, you know what I'm saying? That was in the mid to early to mid 80s. But late 70s into the early 80s, we were the gatekeepers. You could, and I know this again for a fact because growing up in Flatbush, some of my homeboys and friends or whatever who, you know what I'm saying, parents or whatever, you know, might call them out the door, yo, you know, and they got an accent. Niggas used to be snapping on them, you know, like, you know, how they say ranking on them, you know, we used to say back in the days. Niggas just start joking on this nigga like, oh, yo, your mom sound like an African booty scratcher, nigga. You know, oh, your mom's is, you know, like if your mom's from Jamaica or something, or your people from Jamaica, oh, yo, some banana boat niggas came over here on a boat, which is one of the most, if you Jamaican or, you know what I'm saying, that's one of the most disrespectful things you could say to a yard man as a black American or American person, telling them that they came over here on a boat. They ain't had no means to fly or technology to get on a plane and fly over here. You know what I'm saying? They had to get on a boat and just canoe their way over here to the shores, and you know what I'm saying? So Junior Reid do the tune, the song back in the days, you know if you call me, you know if you call me no banana boat, boy, hey. So, you know, that's disrespectful to, you know, next to go suck your mother or, you know, go suck your, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you call them a banana boat, you know what I'm saying? That was disrespectful. You know what I mean? Haitians, we used to, oh man, we used to tear them apart. Spanish people, we used to joke on them. That was funny. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, you know, in their defense, it was our ignorance as black Americans because we, you know, laughed and joked at these people and stuff. And, you know what I'm saying? Even in my own family, you know what I'm saying? Like on my father's side of the family, you know, like, but it played a key role, or it was critical when we consider what did they bring to the culture. What Spanish words or what Jamaican words or what West Indian terms or coinage were we, you know, none of that. It was strictly black American. And not only that, it was Black American, and it was enjoined or tacked on to Islam. That's the birth of hip hop. Islam. A lot of people may not even know that, but you know, the 5 percenters, the Zulu Nation, those brothers, primarily the 5 percenters, played a major role in the inception of the hip hop culture. Most of the rappers, either they were God body or they was just talking the slang. Those words were nobody was, you know, cussing pure clot and suck your mother and bomber us, and you know what I'm saying? Nobody was talking that back then, but they was talking the God body talk. Word is bond. Word life. Word to God. You know what I mean? Like how they say today, on God, some God, word to God. You know what I mean? Or, you know, peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, do the knowledge. You know, even Islamic words. Salam. Salam alaikum. I mean, these were words that were incorporated into the culture of hip-hop. Black American, Islamic Black American culture is what birthed it. Because again, most of the people who began this culture were conscious individuals. Not all of them, but a good number of them were conscious individuals. There was a time when in hip-hop, like, you didn't get 5 mics unless you was talking about something. You couldn't get on there just rapping about foolishness and expect to be a 5 mic MC in the Source or wherever. Nah, you was joked at. You was looked at as a clown rapper. You know what I mean? A candy rapper. You know what I'm saying? So the key issue is, what is Black American culture? Because I've argued this point with several people, and I could agree with Busta Rhymes and some of them when they say Black American people didn't have no culture. That's true to a degree, all the way up until the 1960s. Prior to the 1960s, we could kind of say Black American people, yeah, we really didn't have no culture. Yeah, we had music, we had rhythm, but that's not really what is indicative of what culture, you know. Black people all over the planet, because we are universal. We come from the universe. We come from the planet Earth, right? We morphed up out of that into whole sentient beings walking around. There's a frequency of vibration that goes through Black people all over the planet, no matter where you're at. The frequency of love, compassion. That's Black people all over. That's why the white man it was so easy for him to go to different native lands, and we see them and we take them in. You know, they didn't appear to pose a threat to us, so we take them in, and you know, finally we realized that they were different. They not like us. They different. You know what I'm saying? They got a underlying motive. They finna kill everything, right? Everywhere Black people are on the planet, you're gonna see love, compassion. You're going to see that expressed in art form, in literature. You know, you're going to hear music, vibrations, the African beat of that drum, the kete drum, like Kiapilton said. Beat, man, beat on the kete drum. You know, that's everywhere where you got Black people. Wherever those Black people are being oppressed or downtrodden, those specific qualities and traits or characteristics within them as a people are expressed more. They come out more. So if you hold down a particular group of Black people on the planet, right, with sufferation, botheration, you know, just struggle, you're going to get more of that essence, of that vibratory frequency up that's going to come up out of that people. The most wisest of information is going to come out of that people. Why? Because We're spiritual people by nature. Whenever we feel hardship, prayers go up. Supplications go up. No matter what God you believe in, that happens. But when that happens, it gets trapped off in the ethers of the universe. So the universe eventually will grant us what we are asking for. It sounds spooky. I remember saying that to a God one time, and he was like, oh, come on, God, I don't know about that. Like, you know, how is the universe going to produce something? And, you know, when you abide and obey the universe, when you abide by its universal laws and principles, then the universe will acquiesce. It will do what you want it to do. Yes, we're the gods. Everything in creation knows that we're God, except for us. So once we begin acting accordingly, naturally the universe will produce what we crave, what we yearn for, right? So Black American people, as we know, of all of the African people on the continent and all throughout the diaspora that were taken off into bondage, chattel slavery, Black American people, we suffered the most, right? The most irrevocable condition Black people suffered because we were stripped of our humanity. We've had slavery all over the planet, yeah, but nowhere on the planet was there ever a time when a Black person said, I hate my skin, I hate my hair, I hate my nose, I'm ugly. I'm an ugly ass nigga. I gotta change this, and just start altering itself. And this is a serious condition that we had as Black people, that they, the divine evil white Caucasian race, put on us. Not for 10 years or you know, a century or what, for centuries. For centuries. Nearly 4 centuries. But if you want to be technical, even till this day, it still persists on because there's a mental slavery now. Right? What's the song? The Babylon released the chain, but they might use them brain. I forget who sing that. I can't think of oh man, I can't think of the artist's name, but it's a reggae song. The Babylon released the chain, no, they might use them brain. Now we know. Right? So, Babylon, right? The white man, the powers that be, the divine evil, satanic race of Shaitan, of Yakub, has now wisened up even more now and said, yo, we don't have to keep them in physical bondage. We can put systems in place now to entrap their brain, their thinking. So as Henry Berry back in the House of Delegates in Virginia stood up back in the 1700s and said, we've closed every avenue of light by which it may enter into the slave's mind. I'm paraphrasing, right? But he says if we could keep them on this level, we'd be safe at night, you know, because chattel slavery wasn't a choice. We was killing white people over here. They couldn't go to sleep at night and lay in their bed and think everything was sweet. No. We was coming in there to chop your head off, your kid's head off, murder men, women, children, everything dead, right? The dog, we killing the dog, the cat dead. All if a roach a crowd upon the wall, the roach is dead. That we killing everything. So the white man knew that he had to create a system now to where they would remain in a docile, position. We can sleep good at night. we want to turn them in on themselves and make them look at themselves and view themselves with suspicion versus us, even though we're the ones lashing his back. We don't want them to view us with that vitriol. We want them to, right? So they put systems up to do that. So in doing this, black people's culture was completely destroyed. People look at the inventions that black people did and say, oh, well, we invented this, we invented that, and we did. But we invented those things due to the condition that we were put in. We wouldn't have been inventing no things to plow up soil faster and, peanut things to, you know what I'm saying? Like for planters and to, no, we were, because for what? But because that was a hardship that was put on black people, now you see the best of our creative abilities manifesting itself now in these creations, right? So black people, after the white man said, all right, I'm done with you niggas, get out, I'm done with y'all, we went everywhere all over the America and produced neighborhoods that were prosperous neighborhoods that black people lived and thrived in. However, everything we did, whether it was music or whether it was whatever, it might have had a little pinch of African in it, but the majority of it was European. It was to appease white people in our art, in our sports, in our everything pretty much we did. It was to appease the white folks. I gotta take my phone down from here because it's getting hot up there. It was to appease white folks. Everything that we did. Very few creations had that stamp of African or black African culture on it, or Islamic culture on it, until the advent of Islam or the 5%ers in the 1960s. 5%ers play an important role because even though Master Fard Muhammad, Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, came over here and brought us Islam, a lot of us wasn't practicing Islam. We weren't doing Islam just yet. We weren't doing that yet. Just in the Nation of Islam, we were doing it. But out in the streets, in the general public, we weren't doing that. But now, with the advent of hip-hop, rap music, with a lot of the 5%ers now, which is an offshoot branch now from the Nation of Islam, or a branch group from that, theology and teaching, now you start to see it incorporate into the 1960s conscious revolutionary movement now of black people. Black people didn't have a culture until we stood up and said to the white man, no, we not doing that. It was, what we say is hot. What you say is not. What we say is hot. That's when black people officially had their own culture. Because we can't look at well, what about soul food? That's black culture. No, that's death culture. There's a difference between black culture, white culture, and death culture. Technically, white culture is death culture because pretty much in all things white people do, it's to their demise for the most part. But as black people, we follow in what they do. Right? When we see them doing something or whatever, and once the white man gives his stamp of approval on it, we acquiesce to that type of behavior or to that type of whatever. We follow right along. We jump in line and follow suit because the white man was our daddy for so long, for 400 years. Right? He was our daddy. Even after the white man kicked us off the plantations and said, go, nigga, go free, go, nigga, you out of here, you free now, go do you. we went and started our own communities around the place. But when you look at the black culture, it was still a culture of death and decadence. It was still the white man's culture all wrapped up in there, because we still did Christmas. We still, his holidays. We still did all of that. So black people, or black American people, didn't really officially have our own culture until the 1960s. Because again, once James Brown and a lot of the young brothers back during that time was, I'm black and I'm proud, whom he was sparked from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why we say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the father of consciousness in black America. There's no disputing that. There's no argument with that. Well, how can you debate that? No. We love Marcus Garvey. We love Noble Jew Ali. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the father, or the spiritual mother, if you will, of black consciousness in America. And Father Allah, Brother Clarence 13X, is also a father. Not just to us as 5%ers, but a father to our culture. Because he made it more applicable to the black American thug niggas. Right? Niggas that was in the streets, drug dealers, whatever. He made it more applicable to them. And more easily accessible. Right? You could get lessons now, and you don't have to go through the rigorous training of knowing knowing the protocol of how a God's supposed to move. All you gotta know how to do is just quote. Once you're able to quote it, you're one of us. You're good. So it equipped us at least with some sort of Islamic conscious, mind frame. So now when hip hop birthed itself, it was strictly black American. There was no Spanish. They came later on. Like once television, and they started showing rap videos and stuff on TV. Okay, by now you got white people, you got Blondie, and you got, you know what I'm saying? We see a lot of Puerto Ricans now, the New York City Breakers, and we see, mad Hispanic dudes and mad white chicks in the rap videos dancing and stuff like that. And yeah, it looks like everyone was inclusive, but no, that's not it. It was strictly black American from its inception. As time went on, gradually now, in the beginning stages, because I would say that they came in, Hispanics and stuff, in the early stages, just not the inception. That's where we have a debate about. I would have to tell my brother Fat Joe and my brother KRS-One, not during the inception. Because ain't nobody was walking around here talking no Jamaican twang, no Haitian stuff, African stuff, Spanish stuff, because we was we was cracking on them niggas. We was ranking on they moms. Niggas had your mama jokes. Niggas was embarrassed to let you hear they Haitian moms in the crib calling them, time to come inside, time to come in. Niggas was like, that was our ignorance as black Americans. Again, don't get me wrong, but that was necessary. Because that's why I said when Lord Jamar said that, that's key. Because that showed you right there, ain't nobody incorporate nothing if it ain't fly past black Americans. You had to be talking like us. You had to be moving your hands and your body like us to be talking. You know what I mean? Ain't no, yo, but you ain't nah. Niggas wasn't moving like Junior Demus and Super Cat. Even though them man, they are some bad man. You know what I'm saying? But no, bad man wasn't moving like that in the hood. Nah, niggas, B-boys and hip-hop dudes had their own way of moving and our own slang and our own talk. And you had to act just like us if you wanted to be accepted around us. So in the inception of hip-hop, when it was first germinated, the seed was planted, it was strictly black American. That's it. All of the other ethnicities came shortly after. So that's important. Black American culture, defining what is Black American culture, and then hip-hop. Hip-hop is Black American culture. Anywhere you go over the world and people see you talking like that, and you know what I mean, and you moving like, I don't care if you from up north, New York, you could be from down south, you feel me? Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, talking like how they talk down here, wherever you from, they know you are Black American. That is a Black American culture. African dudes or Jamaican dudes can't go back to their country and be like, yeah, because they know you're imitating Black American culture. You're trying to act like a Black American. This is understood. So, again, that's just my little rant for the morning, man. I'm just leaving the gym this morning. I'm about to take it to the kingdom, take me a shower, freshen up, and, I just had to drop that little information to the people, you know what I'm saying? But, inshallah, family, we will return again. I leave the brotherhood as I came in the greeting words of peace. I hope my words found some sort of, home point, and it can touch and clear up some of the confusion with this whole who started hip-hop. Black Americans, we started hip-hop. Ain't nobody else include anything into it because they was getting joked on. All that shit was corny to us back then. I don't care if you was Jamaican, whatever, Spanish, nigga, you was getting laughed at. You had to do what we was doing. So long as that's understood, hey, we good to go. So with that being said, I'll leave the brotherhood as I came in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. Peace.